I think we were all convinced that the treatment of chronic diseases requires an interdisciplinary approach. And our idea or our vision of this symposium was to bring together specialists that are involved in the treatment of chronic inflammatory diseases from all different organs. So experts in both science and clinical management of all different chronic inflammatory diseases.
The symposium will not only present the state-of-the-art knowledge on the different inflammatory diseases, but also discuss hot topics and finally make an outlook into the future, into how precision medicine will become reality in inflammatory diseases.
You should visit the conference because it is not only conveys the current state of science and practice in a condensed way, but also points to the future. The conference allows you to think outside the box and learn from your disciplines. The conference will influence your actions and is an important social event of our cluster, which strengthens the togetherness to advance inflammatory medicine.
The cluster of excellence, precision medicine and chronic inflammation is a very broad network of clinical researchers, renowned translational scientists, molecular researchers. So different disciplines come together in a very, very broad network to tackle today's problems in inflammation medicine and develop the blueprint for an individualized use of precision medicine. So stay tuned and watch what we get out and what we find out also in connections with others in the world who are dealing with similar problems. This is the medicine of the future in the making.
So far, the key problems of chronic inflammation is that we at the moment cannot treat the chronic inflammation, but only can reduce it on a long-term treatment in terms of moving the patients into a more or less stable chronic disease of low disease activity. The hope for future research would also be to develop therapies to stop the progression of the disease completely in terms of a causal therapy.
So systemic inflammation is characterized by the affection not of one organ only, but of the whole host in general. So it's not only the lung or the gut or the skin. It is characterized by having multiple sites of inflammation, if not the whole of all organs in general.
Chronic inflammatory diseases should always be addressed in an interdisciplinary setting, because it's not only one organ that is influenced by chronic systemic inflammation. And so experts from different disciplines should always work together in the benefit of the patient.
Well, the major achievements in diagnostic and therapy for our patients with chronic inflammatory diseases are, on the one hand, the development of biological therapies, as well as the so-called small molecules on the one hand. And on the other hand, a better understanding of the underlying genetic and other mechanisms that lead to the disease. And especially the better therapies are a lot more targeted than what we did in the past, which means we have more effect and less side effects. And that, I think, is a huge benefit for our patients.
For the future clinical trials, there are a lot of open questions. We'll try to find out how can we predict, for example, the course of the disease. How can we prevent the occurrence of associated diseases or comorbidities? How can we predict the response in the patient? How can we somehow find out which patient would have the best chance for the remission? So these are the main question in order to find out how can we implement the knowledge from the precision medicine in daily practice.
In the area of biologics, which we'll address in the symposium as well, I think we have a lot of data of advanced disease in adult individuals, and we need to understand the role of targeted therapies as an early intervention, and that means probably much earlier in life than we commonly use them.